Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon, everyone. Okay, in this occasion, in the seminar on management accounting class, we will discuss about effective long-term cost production on the strategic perspective. The first of all, thanks to our lecturer, Ibu Rita Rahayu, as a lecturer of the seminar on management accounting class, and thank you for the all of the participation in this class. So today's topic we will present by group 8 that are consist of Bunga Adinda Putri, Alfa Yulinas, and Muhammad Farhan. Okay, let's we start the discussion. Please.
Okay, thank you, moderator. So today we will gonna talk about the first one is the differences between traditional and strategic cost reduction out of our company. The second is cost reduction roller coaster. The third is the Sencon model of cost reduction, and the fourth is organizational cost drivers. Next slide. So the differences between traditional and strategic cost reduction. Cost reduction is an effort to manage activities related to the production process and can reduce production costs by eliminating unnecessary costs. In carrying out cost reduction, there are two ways, namely the traditional approach and the strategic approach. A traditional cost reduction program is usually a pressure tactic targeted at all employees. It is triggered in reaction to an immediate threat, such as poor performance, losing a contract, and price drop. So the 5 programs that are often used in traditional cost reduction are, the first one is a technology approach. Technology approach focus on direct labor with technology to improve operating efficiency. But this approach requires money, time, process, effective innovation, and skilled employees. Thus, the attempt to obtain or maintain a competitive advantage by reducing labor costs will be seen be a weak foundation for a successful cost reduction program. And then lean mean, when the economy is doing well, downsizing and smoothing approach don't work. As a result, costs creep up and inefficient increments. In response, the companies start implementing lean and mean programs to cut costs by reducing and eliminating employee discretionary programs. These programs is not effective in long term because it reduces costs by reducing labor, but it doesn't reduce production and sales activities. And then the third is offshore retreat. Many companies have tried to reduce costs by exciting to places that offer lower labor costs. Many of these companies have found, though, that the cost of starting an offshore retreat are higher than expected, while delivery quality and performance are lower. The success of this approach depends on how many company employees are transferred and the behavior of current exchange rates and the fluctuation. And then mergers are intended to create economies of scale by reducing the overlap of employees, product, factories, and overheads. Oftentimes, these mergers result in layoffs and reduced compensation, with the result of increased morale and motivation. Ultimately, expectation for economies of scale from mergers are not recognized as unexpected costs. And then the last one is diversification. This diversification is a company's effort to increase production by adding types or diversity of production types. Companies that diversify in addition to increasing the number of production results also aim to increase profit or to cover loss that may occur if one or part of the products are not sold in the market. The next slide will be explained.
Okay, I will continue the presentation. The next one is a benchmark of cost reduction success with traditional approach. Some managers have found that traditional cost reduction is effective only under three conditions. They are when changing the business for divestment, when implementing the result of strategy, and when reducing production costs, but only when all the company's strategic position is good. Strategic cost reduction. Strategic cost reduction is a long-term approach that integrates competitive strategy, technology strategy, human resource management strategy, and organizational design consideration to profit focus and coordination to maintain competitive advantage. In Exhibit 3, the same core model of cost reduction. In the bottom, their quality, in the middle, the dependability or reliability and speed. And the top is cost efficiency. Strategic cost reduction occurs continuously and is related to competitive strategy. Strategic cost reduction occurs continuously and is related to competitive strategy. One focus, two important aspects of program development strategic cost reduction involve determining the focus of the program and the mix of methods used to reduce strategically important costs. Many manufacturing firms achieve competitive advantage from activities that occur before or after manufacturing, rather than in the manufacturing activity itself. For many companies, the most effective strategy for reducing life cycle total product cost is to focus cost reduction efforts on activities that occur before production begins. Two set of methods. Aspect of developing an effective cost reduction strategy is to identify a set of cost reduction methods that can be used to reach agreement to continue to reduce strategically important costs. The method chosen must be compatible with and strengthen the company competitive strategy, culture, and human resource management strategy. Three trade-off. The important point of this example is that it is sometimes strategically advantageous to increase cost if doing so can help achieve another competitive advantage. Employees are the ultimate long-term cost driver. In the long run, the decision and action of employees will cause costs, where only the employee themselves can make decisions and take action to reduce costs. Thus, the key to effective long-term cost reduction is employee, their belief, value, and goals. Three prerequisites for realizing the maximum benefit that will be obtained from long-term efforts cost reduction employees are have a good top management, have cost culture, and over long-term employment. The next section will be discuss how top management, cost culture, and long-term work affect long-term costs. One, top management. Top management must take the initiative in decision making and action in showing other employees and stakeholders that they are serious about improving the competitive position or competition of the company. Two, one of the important determinants of success in the ability of top management to establish strategic objectives, which mean that they must provide leadership to achieve the vision by leveraging core competencies. Three, top management set strategic goals for cost reduction. This objective must be based on the support of or strength of the company's core competencies and competitive strategies. Two, cost culture. Cost culture top management must also develop cost conscious culture. The purpose of cost conscious cultures is continuous improvement of quality, time, and cost structure innovation. To achieve this goal can be helped by redesign the organization to focus on the factor that have to do with maintain a strategy of continuous improvement. Next, we'll explain by Farhan.
Okay, I will continue the explanations. A step to develop cost culture as follow. Number one is, has top management been showing employees every day the importance of cost reduction to company success? Number two, hiring good quality employees. Employees can develop high quality activities and products because the long-term total cost of high quality are lower than the long-term cost of low quality. Number three is the empowering employees through participation, involvement, independence, or cross-functional work terms. Number four is increase the level of education training and retraining as well as cross-training provided to employees to improve and expand their skill, commitment, and innovations. Number five is motivate employees to break existing mindsets. For examples like remove existing barriers compared to their abilities. Number six is communicate more horizontally than vertically, eliminate bureaucratic message, conflict, focus on communicating all employees to some of key to success. Number seven is increase the level of education, training, and training as well as a cross training provided to employees to improve and expand their skill, commitment, and innovations. Number eight, motivate employees to break existing mindsets. For example, like remove existing barriers compared to their abilities. Number three is long-term employment. Many firms have found that the best way to realize the maximum potential from all employees to reduce long-term costs is to establish a long-term employment relationship in which both employees and the employer can adjust to changing circumstances. Avoiding layoff, many firms have found that it is in their best interest not to lay off workers as a means of cutting costs. Over a period of time, it is cheaper to keep excess employees. Laying off employees causes motivational problems for the remaining employees, and when business improve, the firm must incur the cost of hiring and training new employees. Environment suggests a three-step programs. Number one is define the source of the firm competitive problems. Number two, innate action to solve the problems. Number three is increase the employee skill. Number four is organizational cost drivers. The structure is number one is number of work units, number of functional departments or horizontal layer, number of profit centers, and the next number of distribution channels, number of product lines, number of vertical levels in organizations, number of operating facilities, number of products produced at more than one facility, and the last number of employees. And the process, number one is planning and control process, employee involvement and participation, total quality management, capacity utilization, plan layout, and its efficiency, product configurations, linkage between supplier and or customer, education and training programs, activity process sequence like linear on concurrent, management style, number of internal transaction, number of external transaction, number of meetings, number of trip, number of memos sent or received, new products sold or total sales, and the last number of new employees, number of exit employees or total employee. Number five, organizational structure. Organizational structure is how responsibility for activities is differentiated horizontally and vertically. The structure evolve over time is in response to changing opportunities and challenge. Horizontal structure, a significant portion of the cost of complexity arises from how firm horizontally structured. Many firms are organized horizontally by product, geography, or function. This creates a firm that is fragmented and has a series of narrow goals or visions. For example, like one for each horizontal unit. When a result is myopic, short-term management, this fragmentation also reduces a firm speed and flexibility. The way to reduce cost of horizontal complexity, design the firm so that the primary organizational structure is horizontal. The intention of this organizational approach is to break down the functional barriers that impede the horizontal flow of information. And the last third, down in functional lines and horizontally recognize the firm into cross-functional teams that have broad responsibility for all aspects of a product. Number 6 is organizational process. Organizational designs all includes developing products process for accomplishing and coordinating activities. In the strategic consulting literature, executional cost driver are thought to influence a firm's ability to execute action successfully. Driver, this includes the cost of workforce involvement, meaning participations, culture, and commitment to continuous improvement. The key aim, average capacity, plan layout efficiency, product configuration, and supplier and customer relationship. For example, like ZIT and electronic data exchange. As discussed above, how activities and employees are related determines the basic process in organizations, and hence how and to what extent they drive organizational costs. And the last, organizational learning. Organizational learning occurs when companies learn about the environment and how to make it better. Organizational learning is also related to how the learning process is stored in organizational memory for future use. Mass management accounting can be interpreted as an organizational strategy is to solve problems. For example, like budgeting is the process that organizational organization use to solve problems. I think that's our the explanations. Back to the moderator.
Okay, thank you, Group 8, for the insightful explanation about this topic. So we move to the next session. The session is Q&A sessions, but in these sessions, the Group 9 will is the priority. So guys, if you have any question, you can directly open your microphone or you can type it in the chat box. Okay. Okay, Cindy, you have the questions.
Okay, so I have a question for Group 8. But first of all, I want to thank Group 8 for the amazing presentation and because they provide us the material for today's class. I'm Cindy Nabila Andi from Group 9. I want to ask questions about the material. My question is, what kind of condition that must be met by the company before realizing a strategic approach in reducing long-term costs?
Okay, Cindy, thank you for the questions.
Okay, moderator, can I ask the group 8?
Yes, please, Gina.
Okay, thank you for the presentation, group 8. I want to ask about the material of the cost reduction. I'm gonna ask about, is there any disadvantages using the cost reduction method? Thank you for before.
Okay, thank you, Gina.
Moderator, can
Yes.
I ask a question?
Yes, Raihan, please.
So first of all, thank you very much for the insightful presentation. I want to ask about regarding to the material. Can you explain why the activity-based management can be a solution for the cost reduction? Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Raihan. So guys, maybe we give the 3 questions to the group A first. So how about group A? Can you answer the 3 questions? Or maybe you want to have a time to discussion. Okay, maybe you can discussion it first, guys.
Okay, moderator, I will answer the question.
Yes, Alpha, please.
Okay, the question is, in what condition must be met by the company before realize a strategic approach in reducing long-term costs? So, there are 3 conditions must be met by the company. There is a concern from top management to the existence of cost a cost culture, for example, in the form of continuous quality improvement for employee innovation, and the last one, the existence of a human research strategy based on long-term employment, cost training of employee, and so on. That's my answer. You get the point, Cindy?
Yes, I get the point. Thank you, Ines.
Okay, moderator, I want to answer Gina's questions, please.
Okay, Bunga, please.
Okay, Gina, the disadvantages of cost reduction method is the first one. Although cost reduction is a positive step towards developing and growing the company in long run, it can cause negative vibes throughout the company and amongst the employees. The employees can mistake it for cost cutting and send a panic alarm throughout the company. And second one is sometimes cost reduction involves changing process, and not every time the change is good. And then few steps in cost reduction involves installing one-time components like solar panels or green equipment or automatic like saving appliances. And installing this will take down long-term costs but will raise the one-time cost which may not be compatible with every company. And the last one is at times, it may so happen that while focusing on cost reduction, the quality of the product may be sacrificed and in turn affect the long-term vision of the company by reducing the brand value. I think that's all from me. Do you get the point, Gina?
Okay, thank you, Bunga.
Okay.
Okay, for Raihan's questions, we will answer it from group A.
Mutiara, I will answer the question of Hilda.
Yes, Farhan, please.
The question is, what way cost reduction strategy will benefit an organizations? The answer is both large and small business tend to benefit from cost reduction strategies. The strategies allow to counter high operating costs that don't add revenue or value to the organization. Companies that they execute their strategies will can increase profit dramatically. I think that's all from me. Are you got the point, Wilda?
Okay, thank you for answering my question, Farhan. So, the cost reduction strategy, is it acceptable for all the type and the size of the company, isn't it?
Yes, Wilda.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you. The next session of the Q&A session is from Shaquila Dania. The question is, thank you for the material that you have presented. I have a question. Can you provide a case study based on the trade-off and cost reduction? Thank you in advance. So guys, you will answer it directly or should I mention the questions more?
Mutiara, I think we need
Yes.
3 minutes to search the answer.
Okay, maybe I can mention the 15 questions first, beside you discuss the answer.
Okay.
Okay, next, the second question is from Vivin. So the question is, how do you implement a cost reduction strategy? Okay, that's of the questions. Or you may have open one questions from Julius, group 8. The last question from Julius. Okay, maybe I mentioned the Julius questions. This is the last questions of the scan sessions. So the question is, I have a question about the strategic cost reduction. My question is, can you explain the characteristic of the approach strategic cost reduction? Thank you for the second session of the Q&A. There are three questions from Shakwila Dania. The second is from Vivin Dwi Rizky MD. And the last one is from Julius Aridharma. You can discuss it first by your own group.
Okay, moderator, I will answer Raihan question.
Okay, Alpha, please.
The question is, can you explain why activity-based management can be a solution to reduce costs? The answer is, in organizational cost driver, activity-based management focus on eliminate non-value-added activities and reducing the number and frequency of cost driver. Using an activity-based management approach to organizational design also allows person to analyze how expected long-term costs vary depend on how the various activities are aggregated and linked together to form linear and parallel process. A further advantage of an activity-based management approach to organizational design is that the activity representation of problem fits nicely with value chain analysis. That's my answer. Do you get the point, Raihan?
Yes, I got the point, Ines. Thank you for the answer.
Okay, the next question from Shakwila, Vivin, and Julius. Group A, you can directly answer.
Mutiara, I will answer the question of Vivin. The question is, how do you implement a cost reduction strategy? Number one is we can cut the employee cost. A business doesn't have to fire people to cut employee cost. If it make people more efficient at their jobs, their organization can see the same, if not superior, result for its bottom line. Additionally, the cost-cutting measure should never come at the expense of corporate morale or business goals. And number two, you can reduce material expense. Any business owner know that the material account for a sizable amount of the budgets. Company should find a ways to obtain inventory at lower cost. An alternative approach is to manufacture goods with the fewer materials. And number three, you can cut overhead fees. If a business is lower over budget in any area, it is should consider this red flag. Cost reduction strategies enable a course correction by reining in expand and minimizing waste. That may mean converting some employees to remote workers or renting space instead of buying it. And number four is you can spend to save. Spending can be a cost reduction strategy. The proper equipment make a world of difference for operation cost. It can reduce the amount of material needed during production and contribute to time saving. For example, like a company might have $10,000 machine with 10 years lifespan. The business should can purchase 20,000 machine with $20,000 machines with 40 years lifespan. Even if the machine have the same output rate, the company wouldn't have to reinvest in the equipment every decade. As a result, it will save big on operation costs. And number four, you can robot-based operations. Robot go beyond reducing costs and eliminating waste. In many cases, they're more accurate and consistent than human counterpart. As long as human provide the proper maintenance, robot deliver a massive return on investments. I think that's all our my explanation. My answer. You get the point, Vivin?
Okay, thank you, Rek Farhan.
Okay, next I wanna answer Skyla's questions.
Yes, please, Bunga.
Okay, for the example is there is a study by McKinsey and Company found that a 6-month delay in the market but meeting budgeted development costs resulted in actual profits 1/3 lower than budgeted profits on time, but 50% of the budget expansion result in a loss of 4% of the profits. The important point of this example is that is sometimes strategically advantage to increase cost if doing so can help achieve another competitive advantage. Kayla, do you get the point?
Yes, I got your point, Bunga. Thank you for your answer.
Okay, the last question from Zulius. The explain characteristic of the approach to strategic cost reductions. The first one is aims to put the company in a competitive position, and the second one is broad scope. It means like companies must think with a broad scope that includes all aspects of quality management. The third one is long-term and sustainable. The fourth is be proactive, and the last one is strategic cost reduction must focus on the entire value chain in the company. Julius, do you get the point?
Okay, Bunga, I got the point. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Group A. So next, if you guys have any questions to ask to Group A, you can directly open your microphone or type it in the chat box. Okay, because there's no one questions, So thank you for all the participants who give the questions to the group 8, and thank you for group 8 to give us the insightful answer from the questions. So the end of the Q&A session is our ending of the seminar class today. My name is Mutiara Izzati Diva from group 10. Apologize for all the mistake and thank you for your attention. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.